Hey everyone, it's Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. We're going to be ranking the summer signings in today's video. But before that, just a quick thanks to Manscaped, who are once again sponsoring today's video. You guys love Manscaped. I only ever work with companies who you actually like. We've done a few of these little collaborations now, and you all seem to love them. They are the world leaders in below-waist male grooming. I've got my bag here that I use very often. I've actually gifted a few of these sets to friends, and I'm sure they'll love them too. These are genuinely really good. I feel like you all deserve to look after yourselves, and Manscaped do exactly that. You can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code TNC at checkout. I'll leave a link in the description. Look, head over there, take a look for yourselves, and I'm sure you will like what you see. These guys don't mess about. Manscaped are brilliant for male grooming. Take a look out in the description, and hopefully you like it. Let's get into the video. Now, if there's one thing that Norwich City fans like nearly as much as 3 points on Boxing Day, it's a tier list video. And I thought I'd jump back in today to do exactly that. I'm going to be ranking our summer signings and how they've got on this season so far. Now, for Norwich City, it was a very big summer transfer window. We spent big money. We brought in lots of players. I've got 11 players here that we signed in the summer, and I'm going to be ranking them between amazing and awful. Now, this could be an interesting video. It's sure to divide opinion. Please do let me know how you feel about them all in the comment section below. We will start with the two players that they are still summer signings because we made them permanent in the summer, but they were playing with us last season. That's Dimi Yanulis and Ben Gibson. We shall start with Dimi Yanulis, and I really like Dimitri Yanulis. I think he's one of the most composed and mature players that Norwich City signed in the summer. I think he's good going forwards as well as defensively. I think he's been unlucky to have been kept out of the side by Brandon Williams on occasions this season. I'm going to put Dimi in the good category. I still think there's more to come from him. I still want to see him deployed as a left winger. I think he'll have a lot to offer in that area, but solid so far. No complaints from me. Good. Ben Gibson. Now, I'm rating all of these players solely based on this season, so we can forget last season's performances from Ben Gibson, where I thought he was excellent, and that partnership with him and Hanley I thought was really strong. Haven't been as convinced this season, so I'm going to put him in the average category. Now, may sound a little harsh. He hasn't necessarily made any howlers, and Norwich City have kept a few clean sheets, but I need to be seeing more from Ben Gibson. I think the big difference from top-level centre-backs to a Ben Gibson or a Grant Hanley is their ability to play the ball out from the back. I think he looks flustered on the ball sometimes. Look, he hasn't been bad. I just know that there's more to come from Ben Gibson, and I'm sure he does as well. So he goes in the average category. Now, Billy Gilmour is up next, and I think out of all of the signings we made in the summer, Billy Gilmour came with the most amount of hype. He came with the most amount of following due to his kind of antics at Chelsea. And I haven't been that impressed with him. Now, I think some people have gone overboard with the Billy Gilmour kind of criticism. He is somewhat of a luxury player. He's used to playing football in the same side as N'Golo Kante, and he can kind of mop up errors. So he takes on more risks, and I think we are sometimes guilty for not taking enough risks. So from that point of view, good, but equally we're in a relegation battle, and it feels as if Billy's just a little bit inexperienced for that. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in not great. I think Billy will have wanted to see more from himself as well. Now, he wasn't selected under Daniel Farke towards the end of Farke's reign, which is a shame. I think there was probably a bit of tension between Farke and Gilmour, and probably Chelsea as well. Chelsea have sent Gilmour to Norwich City with the hope that he gets minutes under his belt, and that wasn't happening for a little while. Dean Smith clearly likes him. I think he's had moments of brilliance, but fades in and out of games too much for an effective relegation battle midfielder, and I think has made errors on occasions as well that have cost Norwich City goals. So Not great for Billy Gilmour. Ozan Kabak's an interesting one. I think there's a real player in Ozan Kabak, and I was surprised when I saw Liverpool fans so critical of Ozan Kabak when we signed him. They're comparing him to Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, he's not going to be at that level. And obviously, with every player that Norwich City sign, there are going to be certain flaws in there, because if they were perfect, we wouldn't be signing them. I like Ozan Kabak. I think I think he needs to be told exactly what to do. I think when he was playing under Daniel Farke and he went on that mazy run against Leeds that cost us a goal, I think people probably remember that. Equally, he's been really solid in games. I thought he had a phenomenal performance against Manchester United, and it took two really good David De Gea saves to stop him from scoring. There was a brilliant run against Burnley way back and kept a clean sheet on that day. I'm going to put Ozan Kabak in the average category, but I think that could go to the next level if he were to get regular game time. And he hasn't been given too much opportunity. I think that will change with the injuries going forwards. I think there's a player there in Ozan Kabak. For that reason, he's going in the average category. Angus Gunn, it would be difficult to judge him. We haven't really seen him, so for that reason, I'll put him in average. I think maybe not this season, but certainly next season, he'll be knocking on the door of Dean Smith, asking, come on, mate, can I be the number one now? I think Angus will probably be happy to sit things out on the bench this season. I suspect that will change next season. Played a couple of times in the League Cup, and we know Angus Gunn is a quality player, but he hasn't played too much this season, so I can't put him above that. Matthias Norman up next, and I'm actually going to put Matthias in the amazing category. I think I didn't really know what to expect from Matthias Norman. He was coming from a division that I don't really follow. I don't think too many people do. But he is. I think you can tell a good player when they're not in the side. There's a gaping kind of hole, a Matthias Norman-shaped hole, and that is what's happened over the past couple of weeks. We look half the side we do than when Matthias Norman is in there. He's combative, he's just strong. He's good on the ball. He's composed. He's very much a box-to-box player. I think he's as close to a skip replacement as we probably could have got. He just oozes class, doesn't he, Matthias Norman? He's a joy to watch. The goal against Brentford was superb. As I say, probably the player that came in who I knew least about, and has gone on to become one of my favourite signings of the summer. So Matthias Norman makes it into the amazing category. Pierre Lemalou up next. Again, a player that came with a little bit of hype, not too much. I know a certain Chris Reeve was saying that this man's going to go on to get Player of the Season. I don't think we've seen them exploits so far. And to be honest, from what I've seen, I haven't been overly impressed. I'm going to put him in the not great category along with Billy Gilmour. I think aside from Matthias Norman, it's the area of the pitch where we've actually struggled most this season, the midfield. Now, that probably sounds stupid because we've conceded a lot of goals and hardly scored any, but it feels as if we've got the talent in the midfield, and I think it's been a mixture of tactical confusion with Daniel Farke not quite knowing his best team, and that's probably gone across to Dean Smith. I feel like I want more from Pierre Lemalou. Again, like Gilmour, there's clearly a player in there, but when he's played, you can quite easily go an hour and go, oh yeah, I forgot Lemalou's playing. So he's going in the not great category. Milo Rashica is another interesting case. I thought he was pretty awful under Daniel Farke, and I was really impressed with his first game under Dean Smith against Southampton. Now, it may be because I was sat directly behind Dean Smith, so I heard everything he was saying, and he was on the touchline right next to me in that first half of that game. He's an intelligent player, Milo Rashica. Dean Smith was giving him very complex instructions. He had to do a lot in that game, both defensively and going forwards, and he carried them out perfectly. And like Matthias Norman, when Rashica hasn't been in the side, we've looked really poor. Now, he hasn't scored for Norwich yet, and he's only picked up one assist. On paper, they're damning statistics. I think it's slightly different, and I'm going to put Milo Rashica in the good category. I think Dean Smith wanted him at Aston Villa. He's now got him at Norwich City, and hopefully he will return from injury soon. I think he can really kick on under Dean Smith, and Norwich City need him to kick on under Dean Smith because he's one of them players that will be the difference between relegation and survival depending on the output of him. So I've liked what I've seen from Milo Rashica, and hopefully there's more to come. 3 players left: Josh Sargent, Christos Jolis and Brandon Williams. Let's start with Josh Sargent, shall we? I do feel for Josh Sargent because, like a Ricky Van Wolfswinkel and a Stephen Naismith, all of the big money signings that Norwich City have made in the past that maybe haven't worked out, they don't choose their price tag. And obviously a price tag brings certain expectation. £8 million for a Premier League player isn't too much money. If an £8 million player went to Tottenham and didn't perform, no one would know. They'd go under the radar. But because it's Norwich City, and because that's a lot of money for Norwich City, there is a real expectation. And unfortunately, Josh Sargent hasn't lived up to that. Now, like a few of these players I've talked about, I think there's confusion about what Josh Sargent is. I think we signed him thinking he was kind of an out-and-out target man, number 9. He's not that. I don't think he's a finisher, which is a worrying thing to say when he's a striker. And his best performances have probably been off the wing. He was fairly good in that second half against Southampton where we won. I don't think he was amazing, but he was adequate and changed the game slightly. But we need to score goals, and Josh Sargent was brought in to score goals. And barring a couple against a second-string Bournemouth side in the Cup, he hasn't done that. And he's missed opportunities. This is a man who's been given opportunity after opportunity in different positions and seemingly not taken any of them. So for that, I feel bad about it, but I'm going to be putting him in the awful category. And I need to be seeing more from Josh Sargent. He will know that. He's a young player, and there's clearly something in there. But so far, I'm yet to see too much, which is a worry. Christos Jolis, I feel like I kind of need to, sample his performances in a similar bracket to Angus Gunn because we haven't really seen too much of him. And what we have seen hasn't been great. I think he was unfortunate to be basically excluded from the squad due to what he did against Liverpool in the Cup, where he took the penalty, missed the penalty. Haven't really seen too much of him since. I think he's had issues with injuries, etc. Again, this is a man who's young and going into a struggling Premier League side, so it's going to be difficult to make your mark, but not great from Christos Jolis so far, so unfortunately he's going to be going into the not great category as well. And I must admit, this is looking slightly more balanced than I thought it would originally. We've got some players at the top end and we've got some players at the bottom end, and to finish things off, we've got Brandon Williams, who has made mistakes, much like every player in this Norwich City side this season, but has looked really good on occasions as well. I like Brandon Williams as a player. You know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get passion, aggression, incredible work ethic, and I think he's a danger when he gets on the ball. He has made mistakes this season, which means I can't really put him into that good category, but it feels as if there's been elements of really good things from Brandon Williams. So I'm going to put him in the average category for now. As I said earlier, I think Dimi Yanulis has been unfortunate to be kept out of the side. But with that being said, I like the thought of a Brandon Williams and Dimi Yanulis partnership down that left side. I think I feel like I've said this a lot, but I feel like there's a good player there in Brandon Williams, and we've seen snippets. And I feel like take all of these judgments with a slight pinch of salt, because when you're battling in the Premier League for relegation and you're young and you've got something to prove, it's difficult to really put together a string of performances on a consistent level. So there we go. Only one player making the amazing category, and that's been Matthias Norman. I think most people will probably agree with that. Dimi Yanulis and Milo Rashica are in the good category. I think most people will agree with that. Maybe the average bracket will cause some controversy with Brandon Williams, Angus Gunn, Ozan Kabak and Ben Gibson. And then unfortunately, like a school report, we need improvement from Billy Gilmore, Pierre Lemalou, Christos Jolis and Josh Sargent. I would love to know your thoughts on what you think of that tier list. And if you want any more tier lists going forward, just let me know. Let's try and hit 200 likes on this video, and if it happens, I'll do another one. Let me know your thoughts on what you'd like to see going forwards. Have a very Merry Christmas, and I can't wait to see some of you at Carrow Road on Boxing Day. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.